like to see ghosts?
את רוצה לראות רוח? את רוצה לתפוס רוח? Of course you want.
Okay, so this one does not have a language barrier to it at all. So basically what this is a infrared or a thermal camera. So this is measuring heat and cold. So ghosts create cold spots. So I'm sure you've heard that old adage before. We're literally looking for the cold spots to be able to take kind of shape or any type of form like a person. So what you'll be looking for are blue and black areas. So if you want to explain this, you'll be looking for blue and black to look like people. That's what we want to know.
זה אינפרה אדום. זה כשהוא עושה עלייך, את רואה שיש חום גוף, אז בגלל זה יש אדום, שיש צבע אדום. אבל אורחות אין להם חום גוף. אז אם אנחנו נראה כחול ושחור, ועצמים גוף כחולים זה, יכול להיות שאנחנו מזהים פה רוח. אז הוא הולך עם הכלי הזה ואנחנו הולכים לבדוק.
I'm yellow, and obviously I'm a real person. That means I'm warm and I'm hot.
Yes.
So a ghost is going to be cold. So that's the explanation here. So she's going to keep it horizontal. You hold like this, and I will let you know when to hit the button.
את מחזיקה את זה ככה, והוא יגיד לך מתי להתחיל להקליט על הכפתור. תחזיקי, זה לא להפיל, תחזיקי.
There you go.
הוא יגיד לך מתי להתחיל
Not
להקליט.
here. No.
אל תגיעי עדיין.
Yeah,
רק
you want to
תחזיקי.
hold from this part.
תחזיקי ככה, מפה. מכאן.
There you go.
בדיוק.
שתי הידיים.
Fingers are still in front of the camera.
אבל אנחנו רואים פה את אימא, את רואה שאנחנו רואים את גיא פה באדום?
בשתי הידיים. Like this, it's okay?
Yeah. That'll keep her busy.
הוא יגיד לך ללחוץ על הכפתור, תלחצי על הכפתור של ההקלטה.
תכווני לי על הטוסיק, אולי תראי אדום, והפלצתי. את רואה אדום יוצא?
את רואה שאנחנו אדומים?
So this
השיער
camera,
של גיא.
טוב, תקשיבו עכשיו.
תקשיבי עכשיו מה זה עושה.
so this camera works a little bit different. I'm looking for things in my bag that don't require a language barrier, that are going to be a lot easier interpreted. So this one is going to give us obviously a purple hue to it. So this is an infrared camera. So ghosts are said to be forms of energy, and that we can be able to see those forms of energy because we're using light that we can't see with our own eyes.
Yeah.
So again, that's the whole point of this guy, is that it is using light that we can't see so that we can see things we wouldn't normally be able to see.
Right.
So with this one, I think we're going to go with you on this guy.
But if you see, what do I expect to see here in this
So
camera?
a lot of orbs will show up on there, so it looks like little balls that just kind of move intelligently.
אתה שומע? פה,
This is night vision.
Correct. In a sense, yes. Night vision uses a different light, but this
זה
is...
בשביל לראות אורות לבנים. אם יראו אורות לבנים או עצמים לבנים, יכול להיות שזה...
איך השיניים שלי?
So this measures
לבנות.
electrical fields in the air. So it is said that ghosts, because they're made of energy, can change electricity. So what it's measuring is basically electricity. So anything with this number above 2.5 are things that I'm usually looking for with this particular device. Now, because it's 2.5, anything below that is usually natural coming out of the ground. So I'm going to debunk a lot of things, meaning I'm going to, it's coming from a building, it's coming from our parking meters, a cell phone, things like that. So 2.5 and higher is usually what we're looking for out of this guy. So with
הנה
this guy,
שחור. היה
I'm going
שחור.
to let you use this guy.
What do I
So 2.5 and higher. So again, I'm trying to find things that don't really need an interpretation.
Okay.
A lot of these are using like radio stations and those kind of things.
יש לו פה שדות מגנטיים, אם זה עומד למעל 2.5 בחשמל, זה אומר שיש
פה
משהו,
זה מעל
פעילות...
2.5.
פה משהו...
אז יש משהו. אז זה מצפצף כזה? לא.
איזה דברים יש פה, וואו.
So I'm going to turn on a motion sensor with that later. So you're going to have two jobs with yours, just so you know. This one also measures electromagnetic fields, a lot simpler use, but because we only really need to know what color you're seeing, I'm going to allow you to take a ton of photos as well. So there's no flash on this, no light coming out of it, so that way we don't get any false positives, things that we can call ghosts that aren't really there. So to take the picture, you just hit this button, and take as many as you want, and you will get all of these photos back. So that way when I go through and analyze those.
אוקיי.
Let's see.
ביד שלך, שלא יקרה.
זה אני מצלמת.
Jonathan, you're going to get the new device because everything else I have needs some type of interpretation, but this one is going to be kind of like a Ouija board. Have you ever seen a Ouija board before, or a spirit board, talking board? Kind of, well, basically, in a nutshell, all the letters are on there, and there's a cursor moving around. So every time that there's an electromagnetic field spike, meaning electricity in the air, it's going to stop on one of those letters. Hopefully, the ghost will be able to spell things out for us, give us their name, their initials, anything like that. So I'll be looking at, and it's going to save all those letters to the bottom. So once we have a full, bottom row, I'll always take a look at it, see if there's anything scrambled in there. If there's nothing there, I'll just go ahead and reset it, and we'll start over from fresh.
So it works automatically, I have to hold it.
Yeah, you hold it. That's it. Good. Automatically. The other thing I'm going to use,
יש מלא רוחות רפאים, מה זה?
פה זה כמו, אם כשנגיע למקומות ויהיה משהו זה, אז באופן אוטומטי יהיו אותיות והוא ינסה להבין מה רשום. אם הרוח ישדר לנו איזה משהו, איזה מילה או את השם שלה.
So what I'm going to do with this one, because it is going to be all in English, this is going to sweep through the FM radio stations, and I'm just going to have it running in my bag. Now the cool thing about this is that the gist behind it is that ghosts can use FM frequencies, radio frequencies, to talk back to us. So I will leave this running in my bag because it does record all night, and when I go through it in the morning, I just kind of spot check it to see what I hear. This way you guys can at least interpret it using Google Translator, something else so everybody can enjoy it. Otherwise, like listening to this in real time when there's even the little bit of language barrier we have now is very difficult to do because even us native English speakers have a hard time with this one. So again, I'm just going to leave this one running in my bag so that way you guys will actually have that. It just kind of gives me something extra to kind of go through. The other thing I'll have running in my bag, which again may cause a little bit of a language barrier, is this is going to provide words in the middle of the screen from time to time and save all of the words and phrases to a list. This is kind of what they call a spirit box. Now most of this is going to be garbage because it is a phone app. So it's not really, meant to be more than just a drinking game. But I do get a lot of evidence out of this guy. So I'm going to clear out the list, and it kind of gives me, because it has timestamps on it. It lets me know where to watch the videos, where to listen to the recording that I just started, those kind of things. So it is just kind of an anchor for me to be able to go through the rest of your data. So I'm just going to leave this one running in the bag too, and we'll kind of see what goes on with that one from time to time. I will pull it out. So everybody's got gear. This way you guys can actually get some data back.
רק כשאני מתחילה את הסרטון, זה מתחיל להגיד לי?
What's the
Do you
hard
have
question?
kind of statistics? Which nights are more busy than others? Or
I find-
months or
It's not really like most people think, like full moon or things like that. Those kind of. I mean, I do gauge the moon phases. Don't get me wrong. You'll see that at the top of your report. But I find if there's an event that's attached to that location, like that person's birthday or something along those lines,
אמא,
something
בטוח
that's
שאת
usually
יודעת
tied
איך
into that
לצלם?
specific date is usually where I see the most activity come out of things.
טוב,
So.
התאמנת על זה?
So, Charles and Eliza Pinckney, this was a pretty prominent place here for us here in Charleston. So, they had a son named Charles and they had a nephew named Charles. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us. But I like to talk about Eliza more because her story is a lot more in-depth. So Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to what we would consider young today. And the reason I bring that up is because her husband was over double her age. So this is colonial times, so 1700s. So it would have been a big age gap back then, definitely a big age gap now. Now with that, she married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so that way he can see them before he dies. And Eliza didn't think he was dying, so instead she stayed put and she got married. In 1744, you don't get married to become a citizen here. You get married because you're in love. So she was right. Her dad did not die right away, But he apologetically starts sending her gifts from England to this space right here, and one of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Now, you guys have been in town for at least a day that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. So that's how we use it today. But when she got it, she didn't know what to do with it. So she had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated and how to keep it going. And when she figured it out, she called her father back up and said, rice plantations are going to go downhill. We can make a killing with the indigo. So now we have this international businesswoman during colonial times, which is something absolutely unheard of, by the way. So with that, we normally go through kind of like a series of questions, but a lot of weird things happen here. Like none of us actually have a spirit box besides Dad over here. And we're going to turn up your sensitivity a little bit so some letters can start actually popping through. But there's a lot of weird things that actually occur here. So the mansion's not here. A lot of times with the spirit boxes that are running in my bag, I usually ask Eliza to tell us what happened to her beautiful house. So hopefully she'll be able to tell us just through the one spirit box that we actually have running. If we get an answer out of her, then we can normally find out when that actually occurred. She'll give us the exact date. The other thing is that Eliza, we ask things about her death. So how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So with those kinds of questions, again, those are going to be run off the spirit boxes in my bag and the one that Dad has over here. But I'm going to pull out the one with the word list. But because we're filming, have you seen any numbers yet? Nothing yet.
I have already 5 letters.
What letters do you have? So I don't even see initials out of that yet. So sometimes we'll get initials out of certain questions. So we also see a lot of, not a lot, but this is probably one of the places that we see the most activity out of her camera. So again, it can be very interesting in here with that specific camera. I love how she's checking everything out. Her eyes keep getting real big. So
יש רוח. כן, אבל יש...
everybody's going to be able to walk around, but I am going to show her how to use that motion sensor. So again,
מה הוא אומר?
שאפשר להתחיל להסתובב.
כן, אבל מה הוא אמר מקודם? זה המקום ברוחות?
אמרת שרואים הרבה דברים במצלמה שלך. תרימי, כן. יופי, תחזיקי אותה יציבה. ואת לא צריכה ללכת, פשוט תסתובבי. תביא לשם. יופי. לאט, לאט, לאט. צריכה לאט. הנה, יש לך פה עיגול לבן. הנה, יש לך למעלה, קר, למעלה. קצת למעלה. יש לך פה למעלה משהו, הנה. הנה, מה זה? Hey, we see something. איך קוראים לו? אבא, אנחנו רואים משהו.
מצאנו.
לא יודע, או שזה המפנס?
מה זה?
לא יודע, עיגול כחול קופץ.
איפה?
פה.
תזיזי את היד
כל
שלה.
הזמן זה קופץ.
זה, פה, זה מסמן לנו שזה קר.
מי אמר לנו שזה קר?
מסמן 50 מעלות.
אתה רואה?
פה, נו, כחול ליד. תעלי קצת המצלמה למעלה. הנה, מה זה?
לא יודע, תסתובבי קצת עם זה, תסתכלי פה.
לא, זה למעלה, הילה, תכווני אליו, את רואה אותו?
אבל תקראו לו.
תעצרי. תכווני אותו, הנה זה.
תקראו לו.
רגע, הוא יבוא.
מסביר רגע.
הנה, יש גם פה.
הנה, כחול ושחור.
תכבדי קצת פה,
הנה,
ככה.
זה.
כחול ושחור.
רוח. חברים, מצאנו רוח. זה כואב לך? חזיקי זה. בוא נראה. הנה, מה זה? לא, זה עדיין לא 50. הנה, 50
למעלה, תעלי למעלה קצת המצלמה.
I want to ask you, what is the circles or what are the...
תחזרי לה למה שראינו, למצלמה. תעלי קצת
Why it's
למעלה.
50?
קצת.
It's the sky. So anytime the sky is in view, there's no surface.
שזה,
So it
וואי,
automatically goes to the sky. And that's showing us the coldest spot in the frame.
אפשר
זה
להחליף
מראה
מישהו,
את
זה כואב
זה מראה
לי.
את הנקודה הכי קרה באותו רגע בתצוגה, אז השמיים הם קרים. תתמקדי בדברים
אבל זה כואב לי להחזיק עם זה.
זה כבד.
It was 2.5 for a second,
For a split
and then
second,
it went down.
and then it went down to zero because ghosts don't stand still.
כואב להחזיק את זה.
נראה לי שזה קליטה, תחליט כזה בגלל הראש.
And everybody can feel free to.
What kind of question I can ask?
So we can, Eliza, why don't you tell us what happened to your beautiful mansion?
It was
יש פה 70 ומשהו זה, וזה לא משהו בשמיים.
It was 9.
9?
גאיה, אפשר להחליף איתך? זה כואב לי.
4.4. לא, היה לך.
אבל אני לא יכולה.
Eliza, do you want to tell us what happened to your beautiful mansion that was here?
אמא, זה כואב לי להחזיק את זה.
תביא.
תתחלפי ממך.
מה זה? מה עושים?
מצלמה.
שמה?
תצלמי.
They have a rechargeable
אבל זה מופעל?
כן. יכולה לצלם פה למעלה. תצלמי.
So this one, as you
Ah,
can see, gives
tmunos.
us,
Yeah.
these are all the words that we had since I turned it on. I don't see anything yet that would be relative to our two locations, but it's going to keep coming up with new stuff.
אני לא יכולה
Most of it is garbage, doesn't mean anything. But again, we do get about 1 to 5 terms out of this guy per night that's actually relevant to the questions we're asking. But now we're not getting anything. Eliza, we want to know what happened to your mansion that was here.
זה גוסט?
Some homeless folks over there with dogs. I saw. Yeah, we stay away from them. Oh, you got her taking pictures now?
Yeah.
You guys can swap them out as much as you want to. So
אבל צריכה להחזיק את השם יותר גבוה.
למה?
לא רצפה. למה לרצפה?
איפה הרוחות?
לא יודע, ככה כאילו.
Yeah.
לא לרצפה.
הנה, הנה, יש פה כחול ושחור. תראה, תראה. היא מטילה הולכת בתוך.
צ'ארלי, צ'ארלי, how you
הנקודה הכחולה זה הנקודה הכי קרה במסך באותו רגע.
בסדר.
She's here. It was like 13.
בואי.
צ'ארלי, how you
what number?
מה?
הוא עשה הצגה או שזה באמת?
מאיזה בחינה?
שהוא מתעניין.
לא, הוא מתעניין, זה... תשמע, תקשיב,
how
אני אומרת לך את האמת, אני לא מאמינה בזה, אבל אבא היה רואה סדרות שלמות יש על זה, אנשים כאילו עוסקים בזה, חיים בזה, מלמדים על זה, כאילו יש בזה קטע. אתה מאמין בגלגול נשמות?
אני מאמינה
כן? מה זה אומר?
שאחרי שאתה מת, אז אחרי כמה שנים, שכל מי שמכיר אותך מת, אז אתה נולד מחדש, אבל זה לא הנשמה שלך.
כן?
נגיד בגלגול הבא, בלי שאני אזכור, אני אהיה נועה קירל. נגיד אחרי שאנחנו נמות, הנשמה של סבתא פופה תהיה משהו כזה.
טוב, הוא יסביר מה קרה פה.
לא נורא.
מה קרה עכשיו?
לא נורא, לא נורא. כל זה שמחר נקנה לך באאוטלט.
מה קרה עכשיו?
אבל אם יש לי אותם בשחור,
Get all kinds of motion over there.
טוב, אבל תגידו לו שאולי יש משהו קבור באדמה, ואתם לא מקשיבים.
לא, אמרנו לו, אבא אמר לו. Something buried in the...
I'm always resetting this and it keeps...
Just keeps going nuts.
תעמוד שם.
That's it. It's tough.
לאיזה מספרים זה הגיע לה?
Any other numbers coming up?
Not
Kind of like over there.
אולי בגלל שמתו פה הרבה אנשים, אז יש עצמות שקבועות פה.
כן.
משהו כזה.
בטוח.
Yeah. Again, which I've never seen this before. Like with all these colors and numbers going all over. Normally I tell the story here, we capture a few things on the recordings, and like we walk away. We never usually see a whole lot of things on.
אוקיי.
It's actually pretty exciting stuff.
Maybe we'll get something in the bag.
I'm hoping.
מה
Yeah.
קרה הילה?
And talk about the words
אני לא
maybe.
רוצה שיצייר לי את האנטנה.
בואי לפה. עכשיו הוא
לא,
מספר...
זה לא מעניין.
הכל צריך לצלם.
יאללה, עכשיו הוא מספר את הסיפור, בוא.
Utility.
צלמי לידי, כאילו אנחנו מתחבקים.
When do you know it's important word or it's really important?
הילה, תצלמי
why I
לידי
give you
כאילו
guys
אנחנו
the history,
מתחבקים.
so
בוא
that you
נראה אם
guys-
אחרי זה בתמונות יש משהו.
I'll give you the history, so it kind of gives you all the key words that
No,
you know, I
להגיד,
normally
להגיד.
see and hear.
אותי עם רוח. לא ממש.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, so we're going to actually turn that piece off because it's somewhat of a
No,
distraction at
תכבה.
this point.
רבי. בואו תקשיבו להסברים.
So let me tell you what actually went on here, so that way we can actually get the gist of why all this is going on. So, again, this is where some of the duels took place. Here's how the story goes, and I'll make it pretty brief because we have a lot going on with this, and I can't wait to hear the recording. The doctor moved down here from Rhode Island, so that's in one of our northern states. He comes down here, and his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He comes down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her parents. She has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this money. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. And as he's coming into town, a coachman that he was riding along with, because it's the late 1700s, set him up to be robbed and killed. He's seen this guy look like he had money, he's going to put a gunman inside, and he's going to shoot him and take all his money. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to go on, and his name was Ralph Isaacs. And Ralph says, "You don't want to stay here." And he's like, "I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you and take all your money, but you can stay with friends of mine at 59 Church Street." So he takes him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen become friends. But the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. So he's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. So he becomes known as the whistling doctor, because Amanda's moving down soon, and the doctor's pretty happy. He whistled all the time. So the ghost story of this is that as you walk through the alley, or while you're here, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. But the duel, here's how this went down. Dr. Ladd and Ralph went to go see a play one night, and they couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So they're talking about the play on the way home, and they're arguing over the new actress that was here. Dr. Ladd thought she was great, Ralph not so much. The argument gets really heated when Ralph starts insulting Amanda, the doctor's fiancée, back home in Rhode Island, and then they go their separate ways. So Ralph put something in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. So he's kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the ad and he rebuttals with, "Let's go to Dueler's Alley and we're going to settle this." And they came down and took their 10 paces and they turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to make the point. And you're recording.
מה קרה הילה?
אני סגרה את הדלת.
היא ענתה לך גאיה?
היי,
אפשר פשוט לעשות תמונה.
את מתקרבת לאנטנה.
ואפשר פשוט לעשות תמונה.
נו, אין ענתה?
לא. היי, what's your hand color?
היי,
Were you blonde?
we don't get a whole lot of EMF. You getting any colors?
No.
Numbers.
אתה רואה משהו?
לא, אני מחכה, הוא הראה לי שהוא ספק.
טוב, יפה.
שלא יכול, הנה. זה עושה לי שיכול להיות פה רוחות. לא, עכשיו זה עושה לי שאין פה רוחות. תראו, כשאני עושה לחיצה ארוכה ככה, אם זה עושה לי F, זה אומר שלא יכול להיות פה.
לא, למעלה זה השמיים.
אבל אני לא למעלה. למעלה זה השמיים.
פה השחור יורד לשמיים.
נו, בזה, אבל אני מחזיקה אותו למעלה. איפה אני ואיפה השמיים?
Let's see if anybody's in front. Maybe we'll get some footage in front.
It's cool. זו תמונה רגילה, אבל תמונה שמחפשים רוחות, עושים ככה. הנה, זה אמר F, אין רוחות.
למה את צוחקת?
אני צודקת נראה לי.
Let's go check out the front of the building. There's nobody up there now.
אוקיי.
יאללה, בואו.
אם זה לא נותן לצלם לחיצה ארוכה וזה אומר לך F, זה אומר שאין באזור הזה רוחות.
ממש צוחקת, לא משנה.
שלכם אמנם מזהה, אבל שלי גם מצלם וגם אומר... לא. שלי גם. שלי זה מקום שלי, של אמא זה מקום שלישי, שלך זה מקום רביעי, של אבא זה מקום חמישי. היינו פה
מתי?
בכרכרה והוא אמר לנו מה זה, אבל אבא לא הסביר.
So this held all the gunpowder, and they would move it up and down the coast. So that way they can continue hiding it. So they would have it here for a few days during the war, and then they would move it somewhere else. And then they would just continue moving it. This building has never been attacked.
Were you ginger? What's your hair color?
This is actually the oldest building in town.
What's your hair
In
color?
South Carolina. All of South Carolina. Wow.
אני כן
From
אמרתי.
1713. 1713.
מה?
That's the oldest government.
לא,
building.
300 years.
סבתא שלודים כנראה.
Alleged to be a year older. There's no record. This one is a government building, so everything.
I had orange for a little bit.
Because the meter's behind you, you're going to get a little bit of reading over here. But this is a really nice place inside just because the way it's designed so that it
כבר
would be
ראיתם משהו?
sand in the roof that would go up with the
אני לא ראיתי מסתובב.
לילה עדי.
other gunpowder.
רק אם זה מצפצף, אני אעשה להם.
דיקטטור רוסי מדוכא ליד.
Neither one of those actually work. But the sand is still there.
אני רואה...
They did some repairs on it.
או!
It's a museum now.
הלו. אוי,
All the way
עשיתי
how
משהו.
the walls were set up.
די!
It's a